You do speak in series, often, right? Like how, is it unsettling to go through a stretch where the series wins have been difficult to come by?
Yeah, I mean, we never won that, but obviously we got to turn the page. We got 2 on the road. We go to Tampa and Toronto. We got to play better baseball. That's it. I think offensively, were some signs today, but we're not there. We're not there offensively, and we just got to make sure we understand who we are as an offense. Try to keep the line moving. That kid, he threw a lot of strikes today compared to what he has done on the past. The mix was a little bit different too, but we have to make adjustments, right? And he did a good job against us.
Yep, welcome in. It's Boston has entered the chat. Morning on this Friday. And Red Sox are still in the playoffs. Welcome to the Salem
Lord
Studios.
have mercy.
George Balekji, Travis Thomas. You heard it right there from the skipper, Alex Cora.
Man, I heard him.
Not sounding too optimistic.
I mean, who is George? And thank God it's Friday. Thank God. Because who is feeling optimistic right now? I mean, we're going to cover every angle here, of course. This is what we do. We'll talk about both sides of the coin to make it or not to make it into the postseason. But damn, man.
Red Sox lost 7 of their last 12, dropped 2 of 3 against the Athletics, losing 5-3 yesterday. Brian Bale letting up 3 runs early in the game, never really recovering from that point on. It's not the issue of the pitching, though. But Bale hasn't been great in September.
He hasn't.
It is this lineup. We'll be breaking down the Red Sox, what they have to look forward to in their last 3 series of the season. We'll also be breaking down the latest on David Pastrnak and his tendonitis in his knee, the concern for his limited availability. Plus, Will Flemming, the voice of the Red Sox, will be joining us.
Love
Rob King, the voice of the Pittsburgh Steelers, will be joining us later on in the show. But let's start right there. You hear from Alex Cora. That was him right after the 5-3 loss to the Athletics. Drop 2 of 3, lose 7th game over their last 12. They're 5-7 over the stretch. And that is all since September 3rd, which is the magical date. Once Roman Anthony was out of the lineup, what's happened to this lineup? It's been Trevor Story, credit to him. It's been Nate Eaton, and then it's kind of been everyone else. And the lack of run production is very concerning with the Red Sox.
That date you mentioned, they were playing the Guardians. Red Sox took 2 out of 3 from them. Since then, the Guardians just haven't lost, apparently. We're going to beat everyone and make the Red Sox lives hell. But you could also go back, all the way back. Remember early this season? You and I would sit right here every morning and talk about 1-run losses, errors, mistakes. How do they keep doing this? How do you fix this? How do you rectify this? You could go back and look at the schedule at all those games you let slip through the cracks. How about the Orioles early in the season? Slip through the cracks. Diamondbacks comes to mind. Pirates series early in August, slip through the cracks. Now you lose 2 out of 3 to a team that doesn't even have a damn city, man. Like, this is ridiculous. If this team does not make the postseason, we can just pull up the schedule like I have in front of me and just go, yep, this is what did it right here. Oh, there's another spot. How about the trade deadline, where we both felt like they didn't do enough. They did something, but it wasn't enough. All the contenders around you got better. And I remember telling you, if this team doesn't make the postseason, we can point to this moment. I'll be damned. Here we are. We can start pointing at these moments, George. It's a ton of them. Now you have 9 games left. The Rays always play you well. The Blue Jays and the Tigers are playoff implications.
And they're not tied up in what their destiny is. There's nothing guaranteed about them. They have to play until the end.
Bro, what do you got to go? 5-4, realistically?
Yes, because that is the simplicity of you're winning more games than you're losing. They haven't been doing that.
Right.
And that's where, if they took 2 or 3 against the A's, if they took 2 or 3 against the Yankees, if they continued to just win series by series, they wouldn't be in this spot. And they'd be in a more secure position. It's the Guardians that have been nonstop winning. What is it, 11 of their last 12, 12 last 13, 7 in a row?
Since the Sox series is what I'm telling you. That was a catalyst.
And the Red Sox from being solidified in the number 2 spot in the wild card standings, now just a 1.5 game lead on the final wild card spot, and they've been leapfrogged by the Houston Astros. That's everything that's concerning about it, is that they went from something, look, they're good, they're winning, they're playing good baseball, they're hitting well, the pitching's been there. Now all of a sudden it's Brian Bale with his 6 ERA. Now all of a sudden it's Alex Bregman with a sub-200 batting average as of late and his sub-600 OPS. You can't afford that. And for a guy that has not been hitting home runs, 3 since August. Now sure, Trevor Story's been phenomenal, but Ceddanne Rafaela, .095 batting average since September 3rd.
That's
Ceddanne
unacceptable.
Raphael, and a guy that's hitting in the 9th spot is a plus on the base path, is a plus defensively, but you can only be so much when you're that much of a liability in the lineup. And it's Masataka Yoshida being your 4-hitter, being your designated hitter. That's when there are the glaring issues with how this lineup is constructed. But this is something we've all seen before the trade deadline and now after the trade deadline. That's my issue, is that they haven't been doing winning baseball, and they're losing games 2-1, 5-3, right? Where they're not producing run support, where it's getting to the point now, Lucas Giolito could throw a gem. Garrett Crochet could be the stud he is, but that's not a guaranteed win anymore because the bats aren't producing. And guess what? This lineup, when it's Nate Eaton, Rob Refsnyder, Nathaniel Lowe taking big at-bats, Connor Wong, you can't afford that. You can't have these non-major league hitters in your major league lineup.
It goes back to my hot take when everyone told me I was nuts during a win streak right before the All-Star break. I said, it kind of feels like this team may be ahead of schedule with all these young players. Not that they can't make the postseason, but being on a win streak like that, I never felt like it was sustainable. I always said, I think this team might be a little ahead of schedule here and they'll come back to earth. They really didn't until Roman Anthony got hurt, to be honest, and credit to them for that. But now here we are. And look, I know where we're at. I know this is the mighty Red Sox. I know what the standard is, World Series, right? I get it. But your championship window is open, George. So if this year, just get in. At this point, I don't give a damn about seeds or who we're playing or is it at Fenway. Get the hell in. Get these young guys some playoff experience. If you flame out in the wild card round, which kind of feels likely right now, it's not the end of the world. The sky isn't falling because the championship window is open. We could look back on this team, George, possibly, after some World Series and some parades around here and go, that's when everything changed. Roman Anthony's rookie year, they had Bregman, they this, they that. They kind of turned the corner, flamed out in the postseason if that happens, but it opened up the championship window for this team. So all is not lost. I actually think the win could just be get the hell in the tournament. Don't flame out. Don't blow it down the stretch. Get in, get some playoff experience, and you'll be just fine for the next 4, 5, 6, maybe longer years.
We'll see. We'll see. And this is a team also dealing with the injuries. Will Abreu has been on the IL longer than anyone expected. It was supposed to be a 10-day stint. It's approaching a month.
They have a lot of injuries.
Hey, make sure to leave us a voicemail, too, by the way, 617-790-0928. Here's our guy calling in. I believe it was Steve. From the beautiful town of Lowell.
Hi, this is Steve from Lowell, and I think you guys are doing a great job. I just want to add something on the Red Sox. Looks like they're possibly choking this year, but I just want to say they have lost some players that would have helped, and those players are Roman Anthony, Marcel Meyer, Abreu, Houck, Tristan Casas. If they had them on the team, they don't, but if they had them, they might have made a better run. Thank you.
Yes, this is a very injured team. Think of what Tristan Casas could have been. Think of what Marcelo Meyer could have been. But this is also where if you're going to say, well, they lost Marcelo Meyer, he's 22 years old. So what were you expecting from him? Just like with everything, as great as Roman Anthony's been, he's 21. As much as he's been looking like a top 5 batter in all baseball,
a season.
He's just 21 years old. This whole time, everyone knew he was only 21. That's way too much to put on someone. When you have Trevor Story, when you have Alex Bregman, when you have Jarren Duran, when you have those adults in the room, those are the guys I'm looking at. But also, the Tristan Casas argument, he went down in May. So what is everyone expecting? You've known you've had this gaping hole at first base. And yes, Abraham Toro got it done for a point in time, and he was DFA'd right around the trade deadline, but he was bad, like awful, well before the trade deadline came and went. And with the same urgency they had to trade away Rafael Devers, where was that urgency to get a consistent first base bat? Josh Naylor was out there, and he was traded for 2 prospects, and that's it. And that's a guy that would be a veteran at bat that's good in the postseason, a veteran at bat that always owns Garrett Cole and the Yankees, and a guy that could be a middle of the lineup power hitter, good defensive first baseman, and been another veteran presence where they clearly need it. So I understand the injuries, and you can't argue that when it comes to the pitching. Tanner Houck, Cutter Crawford,
That's
Hunter
it.
Dobbins, Dick Fitz. It goes on and on and on.
Yes.
They added Steve Matz, fine. You needed more of the
that's
bullpen.
not- yeah.
And when you go out and acquire a Dustin May, what's the point of that?
Sure.
Because he was what everyone knew he was. So the injuries are there, but everyone knew that that was a liability without this team and an issue they had, and the way they addressed it at the trade deadline was not good enough.
Yeah.
And the way they did at the deadline to me was saying that they're playing for 2026 and 2025 is what it is.
So my hot take wasn't so damn hot. This team could be ahead of schedule. Look, I love.
They are, but you know what? They didn't
love-
have to be ahead of schedule if they actually executed the trade deadline
yes.
how it was supposed to be.
I agree.
Then they would have been on schedule, but the young guys would have been ahead.
Bro, you even brought up Naylor. He goes to the enemy. He goes to the damn Mariners. He's killing you now.
Yep.
But I love early. I love Tully out of the bullpen, by the way. We haven't even talked about that. He looked great. Harrison, all these young guys. But to your point, we shouldn't even be seeing them right now. You're seeing them because of injuries, not just to the lineup, Steve, which you laid out beautifully. You're right. But the pitching staff as well. This team. But again, that's why I think I'm tempering. I don't want to say lowering, but I guess I am. I'm tempering my expectation of if this team gets in the postseason. That is the win. They made it to the postseason. Some of these young guys get playoff experience. Great. Let's go get them. Have another big off season. Let's go get them next year where this team is a legitimate World Series, bro, contender, which is where the standard is around here any damn way.
Yeah. Hey, one guy I cannot argue how good he's been has been Trevor Story. He's been phenomenal this season, but especially since September, 340 batting average, has been the power hitter. Had his error in the field yesterday, but you know what? He hits the home run after that. Here's Trevor Story after that loss yesterday by the Red Sox.
Yeah, obviously, tough game to lose, but on to the next. I think that's our mindset of our team right now. There's nothing we can do about it now. Obviously, we spoiled the chance to get a series win today, and it's tough to win making 2 errors that lead to runs. So that's on me, and I feel like especially in September, I think that's the beautiful part about it is that you're not gonna harp on anything for too long, win or loss. So on to the next, man. That's our mindset.
Wild card leads a game and a half. What's kind of your upshot on where the team is at heading into this road trip?
Battling. I feel like obviously we're not driving in as many runs as we want. I mean, it's baseball, man. You go through the ebbs and flows of the season, like I've talked about. We feel like we haven't been playing our best brand of baseball. It's as simple as that. And we have the mindset that we're going to be playing for, a month after this. So we're not just trying to limp in. I think that's a trap in itself. So we need to keep looking ahead and keep trying to chase down that division.
You guys had to adjust the approach offensively through this recent stretch here. Like, what kind of things are you talking about in terms of adjustments?
Yeah, I mean, it's different for every guy. I think personally, we, hitters have their strengths and their weaknesses, and not every plan is going to be the same for every single guy. So it's really about knowing yourself and scouting yourself a little bit, trying to see what you're going to get, just doing your homework, and I think you can do all that and then the things not go right as well too. So it's a hard game, man, and we're in it for a long haul, and obviously we spoiled the chance today, but we feel good about finishing out the season because we can control it.
I mean, he's right. They do control it. That's one thing you can't knock about him. They do control it. Literally, just go out and hit.
Yeah.
And the issue is, too, again, over the last 3 losses, 3 for 20 with runners in scoring position.
Sure.
They don't have the juice in their lineup to hit for the long ball and have those power at-bats when they need them. When a guy's on first, there's no 2-run home runs happening.
That's right.
But the issue is, too, when guys are piecing together at-bats, drawing walks, getting hits, getting on base, they don't have someone stepping up, locking in, and being clutch, and driving a run or 2 in. It's with the long ball, it's playing small ball. This team just doesn't have it when it comes to their bats. And again, with Bayo struggling in September, all of a sudden the rotation is shrinking from what it could have been 4, with Connolly early being good, to now possibly 3, but really a guaranteed 2. Garrett Crochet, Lucas Giolito.
Look, I want to give shout-outs to Trevor Story here for a second, because all of us, since he has arrived, have been waiting to check some boxes with him. Healthy for a full season, check. Production, check. Leadership, which is what you just heard there and we've seen all year from him. Check, check, check. He fits into these long-term plans. As I say, championship window's open. He's a part of that. Shout-outs to Trevor Story. He deserves some props.
The window's open. It is there. They need more than Trevor Story.
No doubt. But I'm just giving him props.
No,
That's all.
1,000%. They need more than Trevor Story.
No doubt.
I just say, like, the panic button's there.
It's there. We're hovering.
I haven't thought about it.
I haven't
thought about it.
I have.
But now, whenever I have the chance, I'm checking. Is it still there? It's still there? All right, it's working. I don't want to.
Hey, if they play like trash against the Rays, watch this. Oh, Lord! Oh, is this thing on? Help me, please!
That's the break button, too. We'll take a quick break here on Boston is end of the chat. When we're back, we'll talk David Pastrnak. Panic button ain't going away. I'm not hovering over it yet. Find out the latest on David Pastrnak as a Bruins open training camp.
Help me, please! Oh, Lord!
Donnie said yesterday about Pasta having tendonitis, but he didn't say, like, where. Is that like an upper body? Is it lower body? Like, where is it?
Yeah, that's on his knee. I can say that, hopefully, right? No, it's on his knee. Again, this you guys saw him around last week, too. He could have skated today, too, tomorrow, whatever it is. He had some, maybe some, I don't really know if in the past, too, some minor. But, again, this is the time. We just want to be careful, that's all. And that's why I'm not worried at all. He's knocking on my door already every day. He wants to skate. We just have to pull him back too a little bit. But we just want to make sure he's going to be ready to go next week.
All right, you hear it there from the bench leader of the Bruins.
I'm calm.
Marco Sturm.
Calm, cool, collected over here.
First season as the head coach of the Bruins, and he's going to have his best player dealing with tendonitis in his knee. You're calm? I'm not.
I hear that in your voice. Can I just tell you why I'm calm?
Yeah, let me hear it.
Pasta doesn't have a history of injuries. He's not injury prone.
Okay.
You are so dependent on Pasta with this roster.
Yes.
If he's dealing with knee tendonitis, you better be cautious with him. You better give him load management and rest or whatever the hell you want to call it and make sure he's there for the long haul.
Okay.
You heard Marco. He could skate today. This is precautionary. Okay, I got to take it at face value. By the way, how refreshing is it to have a hockey coach tell you exactly what's going on with an injury? How often do we sit here and a hockey coach will talk around everything? Well, it's an injury. Well, where is it, coach? Well, it's an upper body. Well, what the hell does that mean? Where on the upper body? Is it his shoulder, his chest? Well, Marco's like, yeah, it's his knee. He's got knee tendonitis. Can I say that?
I was shocked to hear that.
I was too, but it's refreshing. That's why I'm at ease. He told you. It's clear he was telling the truth. There was no coach speak there. He wasn't talking around anything. He told you. He's got knee tendonitis. We're being careful with him. Do that all year because you need Pasta. What you can't afford is to push him, and he blows a knee, knock on wood, and you lose him, because then you lose. That's how that sounds. So keep him healthy. This is much to do about nothing, baby. I don't care about Sunday's game against the Caps. I care about the season opener against the Caps. You with me? I don't care about the preseason. I don't care about training camp. Keep this guy healthy. We need him for the long haul when the games count.
So,
here we go.
I get it.
Here's the panic.
But we're talking load management.
This ain't the NBA, George.
In September? Real quick. Konstantinov, Middlestat, Arvidsson. Jeannot, Zaka, Blumel. Those are your second and third lines. If Pastrnak is load management, which means he's not playing or he's playing limited minutes, one of those six guys is sliding up to that right wing spot on the first line.
I hear you.
And this is not a team with enough depth to A, be without your leading goal scorer, B, who is one of the best goal scorers in the NHL.
Of its generation.
C, who when the alarm clock goes off in the morning, he's scored 3 goals already.
Facts.
And has 50 goals in a season pretty much, 40 to 50, right?
Right.
They don't have the firepower. And for a team that missed the postseason, for a team that was not good enough last year at all, and the way they attacked free agency, which really did not make sense with how they outfitted this top 6, this bottom 6, their top 9, however you want to break it down, they don't have the depth when it comes to scoring. And that was their issue last season, and that'll be their issue this season. So when I hear your best player has knee tendonitis, and when I hear that your best player is, we're not having him skate now, he could, but you know what, it's in a load management fashion. Okay. Who's going to step up? Because you don't have the Stallions behind him. And it could be, okay, what can Will Zellers bring, right? What can guys like that, if a Matty Poitras could slot in and make an impact? I want that on the 4th or 3rd line. I don't want that thrown on them to have those expectations. They're not good enough. They're too young. They need to be worked into that role. That's what worries me with this one. It's how they attack free agency. It's how they attack the offseason. There's not enough firepower on this team right now to be able to weather the storm of David Pastrnak to be limited at all.
Yeah, I'm not going to argue that at all. He's your best player, obviously. But I tell you what, that's the reason you give a geeky the bag, isn't it? That's the reason. I mean, this guy had a career year.
Season. Yes,
he
33 goals.
Okay, so we paid you, so do it again, bro. Like, I'm not saying that's the answer.
Do it
I'm
again,
just saying,
but do it again. But that without David Pastrnak on the line with him,
that's why I want to
changes a lot.
That's why I want to be careful, because I'm not asking him to be
You give him the bag to play
pasta.
with David Pastrnak.
Yes.
You don't give him the bag to score without David Pastrnak.
Totally fair, but I'm just going on your point. If it's a spot here or there where I need guys to step up, that's a guy I'm looking at. That's all.
Yeah.
Now, if you lose, that's why I said I don't want to push Pasta and lose him, because then you're really screwed. But if you can keep him healthy, okay, it's knee tendonitis here. He's not playing with a partially torn ACL. Let's say that. So if you can keep him healthy for the long haul, if I need you in a spot here or there, geeky, you got paid. Can you do it again? You just gave me career numbers. Can you beat those? That's a guy I'm looking at. That's just an example, that's all.
This is a team that won 33 games last year, missed the postseason, and just didn't have it at any point throughout the season. There's a lot to be expected of Charlie McAvoy, Elias Lindholm, Hampus Lindholm, Pavel Zacha, Jeremy Swayman, thank you very much, Nikita Zadorov. There's a lot to be expected of Casey Middlestat, but there's a lot to be expected of David Pastrnak, too. They need all those guys. And those guys are talented. They're vets. They're leaders. But they don't have the depth behind them. And what have we seen? With the Panthers winning another cup, it was their depth. With the Oilers getting there, it was their depth. With a team like the Caps, with the great regular season they had, it was their top 9.
Sure was.
Because that's the NHL now. It's no longer your top 6. It's no longer your first 9. It's your top 9. What can your 3 lines produce?
That's right.
How much scoring can you have? Morgan Geekie, David Pastrnak, the only guys currently you could see throughout their top 4 lines in offense that have more than 20 goals last season. They don't have the scoring, and that's what worries me. And knee tendonitis with load management, that is concerning. It just is.
Listen, if this is a pie, what I'm hearing from you, the knee tendonitis is a small piece of it. It just sounds like roster construction is most of your pie.
With a healthy,
that's not Pasta's problem.
No, it's not. But with a healthy David Pastrnak, the majority of my concern is the depth behind him.
Sure.
With David Pastrnak not consistently in the lineup, potentially, that amplifies that concern.
Fair.
Because that will further expose and put under a magnifying glass just how much lack of depth and scoring this roster has.
Fair.
And that's what it is. And you know what? Maybe I don't know when the knee tendonitis popped up. I don't know how long it's been known by Marco Sturm in this front
wear
office.
and tear, isn't it, George? Just mileage, bro.
Yes, and how common is this in hockey, too? Exactly. But this is something where they have to address it. This isn't something of, well, Pasta's in and out. No, you have to address it. Up to the trade deadline. Because what do they call it? What was it? Retool? Revamp?
It wasn't a rebuild.
No.
How dare you? Don't you say that?
Every coach is allergic to addressing and saying the word rebuild. Every coach is allergic. Like, it is what it is. You're going into a rebuild. And guess what? You had the opportunity because of all the guys I named, the McAvoys, the Pasternaks, both Lindholms, the Zadorovs, the Swaymans, right? Because of all of that, it was a 1 year, not even a full season rebuild because you addressed after the trade deadline, right? Going into that. It's still ongoing. If he is questionable to be consistently in this lineup, and you have up until the trade deadline to address it as well, to get back to the postseason. 33 wins is not enough. 40 wins is not enough. And having a inconsistent David Pastrnak or an in-and-out David Pastrnak is not enough.
Remember why? Well, one of the reasons why you hired Marco, though, is because he develops young talent.
True.
Well,
yes.
Let's see it, brother. Because, hey, spotlight's on you. Let's develop it then.
They're going to
get next man up.
They're going to get a lot of time on ice.
That's right. That's what I'm saying.
Younger guys, the roles that they'll step into. And that'll be the true test. The one thing, too, with Marco Sturm addressing knee tendonitis, not common in hockey. I mean, you hear lower body, you hear upper body, you hear injuries not really addressed at all in hockey. That's something, too. Maybe that's a learning step by the head coach. You're no longer leading the Ontario Reign. This is the Boston Bruins. This is an NHL team.
Good point.
You know, what's with Pasta? Oh, it's lower body. That's it.
Yeah. Well, you saw him look to the side. Can I say that? Someone probably told him, hey, chill. Or this is who he is. Like, I think it's refreshing. Vrabel's like this, too. Vrabel's very honest with you. He'll give you coach speak, but Vrabel will answer the question. Then he'll get a little prickly with follow-up questions. Vrabel doesn't like the follow-up.
Yeah, certain days.
Because in his mind, I'm being honest. I'm being transparent. When you start asking the follow-ups, that's when Vrabel will push back. I like that these coaches here, Missoula's not like this, but I like that most of these coaches here, Cora is very transparent as well. I like that. I think it's refreshing, especially in hockey, for God's sake.
We went through panic buttons over there. What's your concern, 1 to 10?
For Pasta specifically?
And the Bruins.
Oh, well, that's a different. I'm going to stay with Pasta. I'll go 4. I'm not that concerned.
I'm at a 4 with Pasta, too. I'll go
4.
I'll go 5.2. With
What's
the Bruins,
a 0.2?
I don't know.
What is that?
Don't.
Which CL is that in his name? 0.2 for the PCL. Shout-outs.
For the Bruins, the concern this season was a 6. Pasta in and out of the lineup, that's approaching that 7.4.
Well, yeah, that's a different. Your points are killing me. Your Dewey Decimal System's wild.
617-790-0928. What's your concern for the Bruins? Travis Thomas, George Balekji. We'll be back with Will Flemming in 2.95 minutes right after this break. Welcome back into Boston's End of the Chat. He's Will Flemming, the voice of the Red Sox.
Yeah.
Catch him on play-by-play on the radio. Does a tremendous job. Will, good morning. My friend, thank you for joining us. Hair looks terrific, brother.
It does.
Morning. It's a little early for baseball, folks, but great to be with you guys. And I know times are probably a little tense back in Boston, and happy to talk through all of it with you guys.
Let's talk through it.
Let's get into it. And I want to start there. It does feel tense. I'm looking at the panic button. I am. And I'm being 100% honest with you, Will. I was 100% honest with Trav, our viewers. Yeah. I am looking at the panic button.
And I'm drinking, Will.
So that says it. But what is up with, I want to say the lineup is slumping. What is up with the Red Sox? But to temper expectations, they've gone 5-7 over the last 12. Just 2 games below 500. It's not like they're 1 for their last 11. So what is up with the Red Sox you've seen since September 3rd?
Well, first of all, you named the date, right? No Roman Anthony has changed everything for this offense. And you just can't dance around it. He's their best player, which is crazy to say at 21 years old. But I think he's going to be a superstar for years to come in this league, and they really miss his presence. When we talked about what made this an exciting playoff team and one that can make a deep run, you talked at first about Crochet and the rotation, and then the back end with Chapman. But it really was Roman and Bregman and Story at the top of the lineup really setting the tone. And now you kind of lack some of that pop. So it's on now the few veterans that this team has. You have to remember, this is such a young team. Alex Cora, I thought he nailed it the other night. This group has not done this together before. So I think it's on the few veterans that they do have, especially Bregman with playoff experience, Chapman. Look, Crochet has not been in this spot before. He pitches tonight, of course. So it's going to be the offense and the veteran leaders that have got to get them out of this funk. And, I mean, it's white knuckle time, right? The magic number 8 with a total of like 19 events to go. They got to find a way. They've just come too far. I don't care about the injuries, how well the Guardians are playing. This season was one that was, built for playoffs, and they've got to get it across the line.
I actually want to ask you about the Guardians because you and George bring up that September date early in the month. That series was the Guardians and the Red Sox. I just told George this story. I had a best friend of mine in town this weekend. He's a Guardians fan. He said since the Sox took 2 out of 3 from the Guardians on that very weekend you guys are talking about, they have clearly turned it around and they are hot. They are feeling cocky right now, Will. They're feeling like they're going to make the postseason. What do you make of the Guardians' run? Do they worry you?
Well, they worry me since they just keep winning, right? Yeah. I mean, whatever it is, 12 or 13 wins. Travis, I think that what happens there is, and I'm expecting this from the Red Sox the next 10 days.
Okay.
They felt their lives on the line, right? Think about what happened. It was like, if we don't start winning these games, we're done and we're going home. Whereas the Red Sox now, for a month or so, have had a 4, 5, 6 game comfortable lead. They're going to be in. I think that alarm probably goes off the next couple of days. And you think, if we don't turn this around, we're playing golf in October? I don't think that urgency is a bad thing. And I think that's part of what's gotten Cleveland going. And for that matter, Seattle too. They were out of it in the West Division. They were looking up in the wild card standing. So I think that can be a really healthy and good thing. And God knows, again, back to Alex Bregman, this is a guy who has thrived with that kind of pressure and intensity on him his entire career. So I think it's a good thing. And we've seen it with Crochet. Yankee starts at their stadium and at Fenway. The biggest moments bring out the best in him. And by the way, we just have to circle back to that. This is why I can't take the people who say, oh, what's the value in getting into a wild card round if the roster is what it is and you don't have Roman Anthony? The value is you get to see Garrett Crochet pitch game 1 of a playoff series. And when you have him and Bayo and Giolito and maybe even Connolly early, you can win a series and you can go on a run. Pitching is what matters in the playoffs. The Red Sox have that. They've just got to find a way to get the offense going.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's exactly, I agree with you. Like, look, I'm looking at the panic button, but I want them to get in. For the people that's like, what's the point? What's the point? Okay, it's playoff experience for a lineup that has 5 guys in it. Right now is constructed with less than 3 years of Major League Baseball experience. 3 full seasons. It's Crochet, it's Lucas Giolito, it's Brian Bayo, Connolly early with all his stuff. It looks great. But what could the bats do right? Because this is my worry, Will. Look, get in. I want them. I want the playoff experience for a very young lineup. But what can the bats do to course correct? Because they will need run support if we want them to mess around and steal a wild card series.
Yeah, I mean, they need to be more patient, right? I think there's just been so many strikeouts, so much chase. And this offense, again, that's sort of where Roman set the tone, right? In kind of a Kyle Schwarber way, where, like, if one guy sets the tone at the top of the bats, everybody else seems to follow that lead. By the way, I just want to say, George, like, what do you mean, what's it worth? We've been doing this for 6 months.
Right.
Like, who cares about the Red Sox enough and has loved them to dial into these games and says, well, what's the benefit of getting in? That to me, I just don't understand that in any way. The benefit is you have a chance. Everybody who gets in the dance. How many times have we seen this where wild card teams win the World Series? Now, I do think over the next 2 weeks, you want to see them show some signs of that. And that starts with the offense. And it also starts with hitting the ball out of the ballpark. You know, it's been crazy these last couple of weeks. You see teams like the Athletics and the Diamondbacks. They got 4 or 5 guys who hit 20 or more homers. And right now the Red Sox just don't have that. So somebody, a couple guys need to find their way and start launching home runs. That would go a long way.
Okay, Will, I mean, you're giving us the formula here. I think all of us can agree with that. Let's put some numbers on it. I mean, it's 9 games left.
Yep.
Rays, who always play you tight. Tigers, Blue Jays, playoff teams, playoff implications here. What, 5-4? Will, like, what are we talking about here down the stretch? What record do the Red Sox need to have in these next 9 for you to feel like they're going to make it, they're going to be okay?
I'd say 6 is a guaranteed in. I think 5 they will be in. Again, the magic number is 9. So any combination of Red Sox wins and Guardians losses that equals 9 is going to be good enough. Now, it gets interesting because the Guardians play the Tigers again. They're with the Minnesota Twins tonight. It's one game at a time. It's the dumbest sports cliche of all time, but it is true.
It is. It's true. Yes.
It's so true. I hate that it's true.
It's one at bat. You're right. You're right.
It's so true.
It is. And the reason I say that in this context is we don't know what's going to be at stake for both the Blue Jays and the Tigers. Now, the Tigers have fallen back a little bit, and they all of a sudden might be fighting to get that bye in the first week. And they're like the Red Sox. They got this animal, Tarek Skubal. They want him lined up for game 1 of a postseason series. So a while back, I would have said, man, maybe those 3 games don't matter as much to the Tigers. And at Fenway Park, that's kind of easy skating for the Red Sox. I don't see that anymore. But on the flip side, I don't think the Blue Jays necessarily, like, do they want to end the Red Sox season? Of course they do. Have they had magic in their ballpark? They definitely have. That's not an easy series after this one in Tampa. I just think we can't play the game. It's like when the NFL schedule comes out and everybody, well, that's a win, that's a loss, that's a win. That you just don't know who's pitching, when, and where. And by the way, this is what it's all comes down to, and what makes this game so fun. You're in it for the first time in 5 years. Every game, every night matters. We all can't wait to get to the ballpark every night, even as it's been frustrating. It's so cool to turn on the lights every night and have it count this much.
And we bring up what the lineup, you say like the lack of the home run hitting we've seen, which is true, but one guy that has been doing it is Trevor Story. Yes, he had that bad play at short yesterday that gave up a run, but he hit that home run late. You know, 4-3 game late in the game could have been different than the 5-3 final we saw. When you bring up Alex Bregman as a veteran leader, I want to focus on Trevor Story. What does he bring to that team day to day that you've seen as a guy that travels with him, is with the team, is basically part of the fabric of the Boston Red Sox? What does Trevor Story bring that can lead to that veteran leadership to give them some success right now in this run before we're even talking postseason, Will?
Well, he's trying to strap him on his back right now. It has been so fun to watch him. And, you know, one of the delights of this season is being able to watch Trevor stay healthy and lead in the way that he's wanted to. Because this is one of the great people in all of baseball. He really is. And a guy who's got tremendous ability and power and speed. What a wonderful combination that is. And to see him finally able to stay healthy and to be able to lead this young group has been phenomenal. And again, I mean, it's 2 hits, 3 hits every single night for him with power. I know the errors last night ended up being the difference in the game, but I think he's really solidified the left side of the infield defense. Even though the Red Sox, again, lead the American League in errors made, that a lot of those came early in the year. I think with Story and Bregman on the left side, things have looked a lot better, even if some of the advanced metrics don't say so. I mean, I throw a lot of that stuff out the window. I watch every pitch of every game, and they make most of the plays that need making, and Story so often makes spectacular plays. So I think that's another thing down the stretch here that's really fun to think about is, you know, it's not like Trevor with the Colorado Rockies was in the gauntlet and thrown into the fire of these big pressurized moments. And he does strike me as the kind of guy who will rise up in those spots. And let's be fair about it, fellas. They need people to do that. The expectation was that Bregman was here to do that. I think Trevor can very much be one of those people. And by the way, I mean, it's been so fun to watch Jarren Duran mature and grow. And you go to Fenway Park, he gets the loudest cheers of anybody. He is the fan favorite, Duran is, on this team. Well, guess what? If you're going to take that mantle, which he does, I mean, he signs more autographs than anybody. He talks to more fans than anybody. It's go time right now. He had 3 hits the other night, and he's the kind of dynamic player that if he gets going, especially in that leadoff spot, he could change everything for this Red Sox offense. So I really do think it starts with the horses at the top of this lineup. Duran, Story, Bregman. You're hopeful that Wilyer Abreu can come back. He would be a huge part of the solution, the answer to this Red Sox offense. But I'm not holding my breath. He keeps having setbacks, it seems, and I just don't know where that one is.
All right, Will, it's been all sunshine and rainbows here. We all are saying they're going to make the playoffs. Let's look at the flip side of the coin and go doom and gloom and say they miss it. George and I talked about this earlier. I have it right in front of me. I'm looking at the Red Sox schedule. I mean, my God, we don't even need to go through all the one-loss runs or the one-run losses early in the season. The O's series comes to mind early in the season. Pirates, D-backs in August. This homeless athletics team that just took 2 out of 3. If they miss, and we look back on this, what will be the most glaring thing that jumps out to you? You've covered all these games that jumps out to you where you go, that's what killed him.
Well, obviously, you're right about the one-run games early in the season. That was incredible. If you win half those, a quarter of those, this thing's done. I think that really, look, this is a results-driven business, and Craig Breslow's had an awesome year in a lot of ways. Crochet, huge hit. Chapman, huge hit. Justin Wilson, fabulous. He has signed up Roman Anthony to a long-term extension. So there are a lot of wins. Steven Matz at the deadline has been really good.
Giolito.
Guys, this is Boston. It's a result-driven town. And guess what? You had a trade deadline. And I don't care who was or wasn't available. If they end up falling short, you will go from a spot where you said, we have too many outfielders. We can't possibly trade Duran or Abreu. We're going to have this surplus and go, to we didn't have enough hitters down the stretch. And by the way, there were rental hitters moved at the deadline. You don't think they could use Naylor right now or even Suarez or some of these guys who've gone to other teams that could really help them, who have playoff. So that's where, again, Craig seems to have had a phenomenal offseason, and he's done so much to build the roster. He deserves a lot of credit. But you had an opportunity at the deadline to add hitters, and they did not make that choice. They didn't do that. And it's legitimate to say, well, who actually moved? What would we have to give up? Now, look, they didn't give up Connolly early for a guy like Merrill Kelly, and everybody said, what are you talking about? Merrill Kelly's a proven postseason piece. Well, that's turning out to look like a stroke of genius because how good Connolly early is. But I think if Travis, it goes the absolute worst possible way, there's no way you can look at this season and not think back at the opportunities they had to bolt on a couple extra pieces, especially at first base after Tristan Casas went down. They trade Devers. I thought that was bold and brilliant, and it has worked out. But this front office does not lack courage. We can all say that. They have really put themselves out there this year. But if it goes totally south, I think it'll be a totally legitimate thing to say they probably should have added more at the deadline.
Will, you brought up Naylor and Suarez. Those guys went to playoff teams. I mean, Naylor went to a team that can ruin your life in the Mariners, and Suarez went to the Phillies. But in the end, this team makes the postseason, right? Gut feel.
I'm a coin flip today, fellas, and I'm the most optimistic glass half full person in the world. They got a hit. I mean, you got Crochet tonight. It's game to game.
Yeah.
The numbers, all the probabilities say it's 85, 90% that they get, and I still think they do.
Yeah.
But the way they're playing right now, the offense, I need to see a series, a week, and I know there are not that many weeks left, but I need to see 3-4 games where they hit, because that's the only sustainable way to say, you know what, we're going to survive. Mm-hmm. You're going to have a start like you did from Bayo and Giolito. It's inevitable. There can't be perfect every time. There's so little margin for error given what the offense has done. So I think they get in. But now I'm with you guys. It's like white knuckle time, right? It used to be we need to keep winning and get them to host the wild card series with the Yankees. Now it is get in, hell or high water, whatever it takes, just get in.
Amen.
It's at that point, just take 2 or 3. That's all I want to see. Take 2 or 3 at some point over these next 6 games, over the next 7 days. He's Will Flemming, and you know what? You could catch him on the call for all of those games. Will, you do a tremendous job.
Yes, he does.
Great hearing the voice that always tells me about the best deals on blueberries and avocados, too, by the way. Will Flemming, thanks for waking up with us, my man. Have a great call tonight, and thank you for coming on the chat, brother.
My pleasure. It'll never be quite the same as Joe telling you it's 77-cent avocados. But you know what? I do my best. He's the legend. But thanks so much for having me on, guys. It's great to be with you.
You do a great job taking the torch from the legend as well. We enjoy him on the call as well. He's Will Flemming. Catch him on WEI for calling all the Red Sox games. Will, have a great call tonight. Thanks again for coming on the chat.
We will. Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to Boston's End of the Chat. He is Rob King, the voice of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big matchup for the Patriots. Aaron Rodgers back in New England. Woo. This time, repping the black and gold, taking on the Pats. Both teams 1-1. But first things first, Rob, good morning. Thanks for joining us. How you doing, my friend?
Good morning. Doing well, and thanks for having me on, guys. Appreciate it.
Excited to get into this matchup, but let's start with, it all starts with the quarterback. We know the defense is going to be great from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Now, Aaron Rodgers, week 1 against the Jets, his arch nemesis, the whole offense looked terrific. He was slinging touchdowns. Take a setback against the Seahawks, who are going to be one of the better teams when we look back on this season. What do you make of the Steelers and their offense, especially that offensive line so far?
Well, I think that's the biggest question right now on the offense. Aaron Rodgers has looked great. He made a throw in that game on a ball that was dropped that was incredible. Showing once again he's got the arm talent, showed some escapability. At his age, he's still got some athleticism. But you don't want to continue to rely on that. What you want is the offensive line to step up and give him plenty of time. And that really hasn't been the case. The running game hasn't been going. Now, having said that, Troy Fautano is a first-time starter at right tackle. Broderick Jones has never started at left tackle. He's been a starter at right tackle. So it's going to take some time probably for the offensive line to gel. I'm still bullish on what the offense can be, but I think maybe some of us who are bullish on the team are perhaps a little guilty of expecting that to come a little too soon. New England's going to be a very difficult team to run against. I think the Steelers would love to establish the run. This is going to be a tough week to do that, but they've got to find a way, if they can't run, to exploit the secondary, which has been, I think, a little bit of an issue for New England, and try to throw the ball down the field and score points. However you score points. This time of the year, guys, I don't care if you win 3-2. Just win, and eventually your team will get better.
Yeah, man. Hey, look, we've been talking Red Sox all morning, so we hear you on that. I'm curious. I want you to educate me here. What's the perception of Drake May outside of this market? Because in this market, I feel as though fans, media members, most of us love the guy. You have some naysayers here or there who are already calling him a draft bust, but we know they're morons. Mm-hmm. What do you guys say? Like, leading up this week talking Patriots football from your angle, what's sort of the perception of Drake May?
Well, I'll tell you what. I do a show with a guy named Matt Williamson, and Matt is, extremely well known around NFL circles. Was a scout for the Cleveland Browns. Worked as an analyst for many years for ESPN. Okay. He's on I'm on a podcast with him, or not a podcast, a show with him, and some other things. And at the end of the last show, he said, I hate to break it to you, but I think Drake May might be the next great quarterback of the AFC.
Wow.
I love this guy.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
What does he see? Why did he say that?
Well, I can't speak for Matt as to what he's seen, but I think that he's got, he looks like he's got lots of composure. He throws a good ball and the ability to run, guys. I mean, the the days where you could just step back and pick apart a team. I mean, there are Joe Burrow's out there. We understand that. But the ability to be mobile is just backbreaking. And he's got that ability to be mobile and on top of the other stuff that he can do. So he's clearly a really good athlete, good arm talent. I mean, I don't see what there is not to like about Drake May. Let's put it that way. He's now, the touchdown interception ratio wasn't great last year at 15 to 10, I think it was. But still, you expect that with young quarterbacks. I mean, here in Pittsburgh, people forget a couple years into his career, Ben Roethlisberger led the league in interceptions.
Yeah,
it's going to happen as you go along and you develop. You have to learn what you can still get away with in the NFL that you could get away with in the college ranks. And the smart ones make a throw. They think it's going to be a completion. It gets intercepted, and they file it away and say, "Don't ever do that again."
Yeah.
And Drake May looks like he's going to be one of those guys that does that.
Hey, and for him to have success throwing the ball, the Patriots are going to have to run it. That's what they corrected from week 1 to week 2.
Facts.
Under center a ton, being really persistent with Ramondre Stevenson and working in Antonio Gibson more. And that would set up the play action, which Drake May loved. It was moving the chains for them. It was getting guys open.
Yep.
Because this isn't the most talented receiving core. They're not fast. They're not super athletic.
They're not good.
But they're not that good.
They're not
just
good.
being blunt. But for the Steelers' defense, we know there have been some issues on the secondary since Mika Fitzpatrick was traded away, but you added Jalen Ramsey. But this run defense still is legit. You guys still have a lot of dogs up front. What will be the key for the Steelers' run defense, you feel, this Sunday against the Pats?
Well, they do have the dogs up front, and I don't know, as we sit here now, I don't know whether Derek Harmon is going to be playing or not. He was their first-round pick. So last year when Cam Hayward wasn't on the field, the Steelers' defense could be run against. When he was on the field, they were extremely difficult to run against. They've had their problems through the first 2 weeks. Now, the Jets are a run-heavy team. The Jets are going to do to other teams what they did to the Steelers. But, there's some concern in Steeler land because people remember back to the playoff game against the Ravens and the Ravens running for almost 300 yards of offense against them. And now these first 2 games, you didn't stop Seattle all that well on the ground. You didn't stop the Jets. And the weakness has been running when teams run left and away from T.J. Watt. When they run at T.J. Watt, they can't run. When they run away from T.J. Watt, they've had great success. And guess what? You got Will Campbell over there, who looks like he's going to be a great player. I love how they're trying to build through the lines, you have Barmore and you go out and get Milton Williams, and now you have these young guys on the left side. That's been the Steelers' bugaboo. They've got to find a way to stop that because I'm sure Mike Vrabel's looked at that tape. Everybody's looked at that tape and said, hey, the Steelers have not been able to stop the run when it's going left. And that's where Cam Hayward resides. And the Steelers are going to have to, they're not going to have Alex Highsmith, who's a very good edge setter, outside linebacker this week. So that's going to be, I think that might be the biggest telling point of the game. If the Patriots can run left in particular, I think they'll have trouble running right, but if they can run left and do it consistently, that's going to be very good for them and not very good for the Steelers.
That's interesting because their game script week 1, now they did lose, was they only ran the ball on the left side. And you bring up Will Campbell, it's the other rookie next to him at left guard, Jared Wilson. Their strength is run blocking. So I love that you point out, particularly when offenses run to the left, how that could set up for success and kind of exploit this Steelers defense. What have you seen when it comes to this offense being under Aaron Rodgers, more from the leadership standpoint? Because we know the aura he would bring to any locker room. But what have you felt is different about the Steelers, this team being in the building, being around them, now that Rodgers is a quarterback and is their guy leading the offense?
Yeah, when the Steelers went up to camp in Latrobe, you're wondering how this guy, 41 years old, and now he's living in a dorm room. With DK Metcalf, by the way, they're sharing a dorm room. They didn't even have his own room, They go away for camp, and I just briefly asked him, I said, hey, how do you like it? He goes, I love it. And the players came in and out of his room. I mean, look, these guys grew up playing. I'm not a gamer, my Nintendo or whatever the heck. I don't know what it is. Game Boy, I don't know what it is. But they all, I mean, he was on their games, right? They grew up watching them, and they're playing them on games. And how can you not be in awe of what he's done? And I think he's the right blend of veteran leadership, no nonsense. He's a no nonsense guy. I mean, he is not a look at me. I mean, he walks around in his flip flops and his t-shirt and shorts and in and out, very businesslike. But I think the team has gravitated toward him. he still clearly has arm talent. And, when you think about Aaron Rodgers, people are going to have their own minds made up about what kind of a person he is. I'm just looking at the football player, and he's got a lot of football left in him. And I think, I've never really heard any teammates saying anything negative about Aaron Rodgers. I think a lot of people have a lot of positive things to say about him as a leader and always have. So I think that part's absolutely fine and a plus for the Steelers.
Hey, essentially, Vegas has this game as a pick 'em if you're into that sort of thing. I need a prediction from you. We only have a minute left. How do you see this game playing out?
Yeah, I'm not a Vegas guy, but I do think that sounds right to me. Like this is going to be a close game, and I don't know what the Patriots story is going to be. They've won 4 games each of the last couple of years, but I think any team early in the year that has belief, and I think Mike Vrabel from the outside looking in looks like they play hard and they've got belief, and those teams are dangerous. I think it's going to be a lower scoring game.
Okay.
Of course, I'm going Steelers, but I think it's going to be like a 17-16 close type of game.
Ooh, 17-16. Where you going, George? I see your face.
Well, I like it, Rob, because I was looking at the game this morning, too, and I thought the same thing. I don't know what side to pick, but I do think it's low scoring as well.
All right.
And you know what? Both teams have their struggles in the secondary. But when you have Jalen Ramsey, a guy that gets it done, and I just believe in Mike Tomlin, the continuity that you have overall in Pittsburgh, I like the Steelers.
You like that score?
Especially being in New England. 17-16, yes. If the Patriots are only scoring 16 points, that's scary too because they kind of need to be going quick and fast and need to be scoring a ton. So that sounds like the Steelers are keeping them in check. That's a young team.
Okay. I like where you guys are going. I'll go same thing. Clean sweep in terms of close game. Someone's got to do it. Give me the Patriots walk-off like this. 23-20. Pats win, baby. Come on.
He's Rob King, the voice of the Steelers. Rob, appreciate you taking the time. I'll get Trav back. Hey, have a great call this Sunday. And are you going to be staying in Providence or Boston? This is always the important question.
Providence.
Fed Hill.
Nice.
Fed Hill. You know it. You've been calling
No,
it.
I've never been there. This is my first trip.
Okay.
Yeah, my first trip.
All right. Fed Hill. Go to Fed Hill in Providence. Fantastic food, fantastic Italian.
He's a mayor,
fantastic
Rob. You better
Portuguese
listen.
As well. Go to Fed Hill in Providence. Ask Bob Sosi, too. He'll point you in the right direction as well.
Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Rob, thanks for taking the time. Appreciate you, brother. He's Rob King, the voice of the Steelers. All right.
That's it.
There's a lone wolf right here.
23-20, Pats walk-off win.
I didn't give a final score. I would give it 21-17 Steelers win.
Close game.
I think all of us have an under, I think.
All low scoring.
That total.
Yep.
Low scoring game. Hey, this is it for us here on Boston's End of the Chat on Nesson. Catch us on Nesson Nation for Hour 2. You know that every day. 8 to 9 a.m. on Nesson, 9 to 10 a.m. on Nesson Nation. Every Monday through Friday, where to catch us. Travis Thomas, George Balekji, Boston's End of the Chat. See ya over on Nesson Nation.